Thanks, Codemotion. Thanks for having me. Let's give a round of applause to Codemotion and these amazing people. Woo-hoo! Amazing 2 days. Please raise your hand if you love to work in IT. Thank you for that. Otherwise, I would have to skip so many slides. And there are several reasons for that, right? Because working in IT, we have a lot of challenges. We keep learning new stuff. It's never boring. We also have impact of the ways of working, right? So sometimes we have better environments compared to other industries. And also, we can also fight some battles like more inclusivity, diversity, working place, and stuff like that. We are in highly demand. The market is going crazy, right? And you have at least 20 million software developers in the world, and in 2023, they are saying that we are going to be 24 millions. Crazy. Open source is amazing, right? The idea that every day we build stuff with free software, free tools, made by the other people for free, collaborating with other people, moving things forward for have a better experience and moving things in general in a better direction. What about Codemotion? What about conferences? Even these kind of things are very unique compared to other industries, right? There are so many conferences, and if you think about Codemotion, for example, that it's not a vertical conference, it's horizontal in the sense that there are so many topics, so many things, so many people talking about languages, platform, and not just that, and libraries. So this is the key. This is why I love to be a developer, because collaboration, sharing, open discussion, all together. And even from the roles evolution in the last 20 years, if we think about web development, things change so rapidly. So I don't know, do you remember the webmaster, right? So basically when you want a website back in the days, there was the webmaster who was doing everything. Then things start changing, becoming a bit more complex. So you have other also roles like sysadmin, DBA, designers, and so on. Then the webmaster disappear a bit. You have the full stack, backenders, frontenders, and so on and so forth, UI, UX. And one of the cool things is that what we did probably in the last 10, 15 years is trying to get everyone together to discuss, even if you have different roles. Sometimes there are some gray areas. Sometimes you wear as developers, you wear different hats, right? So it's more like that. So even if you think about sysadmin as well, infra as code, even the process is agile, come into everything. There's one thing there, I don't know if you noticed, that is not always part of the conversation of this collaboration type of thing. The manager. Who recognizes this person? Her name is Mary Kondo. She's a Japanese organizational consultant. She's very popular. She wrote tons, millions of books globally. And basically what she does is helping people to get rid of stuff, useless stuff, because this is one of the key to live a happier life. Why I'm telling you that? Other than that, there was also a Netflix show called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. Why I'm telling you that? Because 1 month ago, I saw this tweet. We Marie Kondo our company, and now we have no managers. That's the same reaction that I got. Very funny. But we know that behind every joke, there's always a grain of truth, right? Because managers, they have bad reputations. They are blockers sometimes. They're not accessible. Sometimes compared to the developers or any other people in the IT industry, sometimes you cannot even question about what they are doing. Sometimes they're taking decisions on their own. What are they doing all day long? It's a mystery sometimes. My name is Cirpo, and I'm an engineering manager. I'm an engineering manager working at DAZN. All views are my own. And I'm still a developer inside. I still love coding. I did lots of PHP. Thanks, Rasmus. And for at least 17 years. A lot of JavaScript, a bit of Go, a bit of Java, a bit of C. Why did I change? Well, I can't say that I really changed, because I've been leading teams, supporting teams for the past 6, 7 years. What changed is the fact that I want to focus on other stuff, because other than coding and other being technical, I love to build products and have an idea of the whole picture. I love to support people towards the same goal. And I do that also organizing conferences sometimes or meetups and things like that. I would say that I didn't change, is that my focus changed. And why I didn't change before? Why I just changed? Why I just moved to that role as an engineering manager? Because in the last 10 years, we were focusing a lot on the real hero. Who is the real hero? The developer. So making that change for me, it wasn't that easy at the beginning, right? Because it seems that like going backward. It seems that the coolest person in the room is the developer. There are some history reasons. I think you can recognize these people in this slide, right? You have Bill Gates, for example, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, Torvalds, Elon Musk. There are also many others. All those people were coding and hacking in their room, and then they were able to build successful stuff, companies or software. Raise your hand if you recognize at least one person in this slide. Who are those people? Those are amazing people, amazing developers, very well known, that are pushing things forward, creating new software, better software, and having new ideas, helping the communities to grow. So being a manager is not cool, right? What about these people? Those are all engineer managers, and I can tell you that at least 3, 4 of them are behind. Those are the other amazing people that I showed you before, and for sure they help them to get to where they are and to do what they are doing. So we always talk about great teams. I also did a lot of this kind of I had a lot of this kind of conversation in the past. Great teams. I mean, it's a cool thing, but if you think about the fact that sometimes there are also normal people that want to do normal stuff, right? We can't all be great, because by definition, great is something exceptional. And again, if you have 20 million developers in the world, you can't always have great teams. It's fine to say, okay, I would like to be part of a great team. I would like to be part of the elite. I would like to be, I don't know, Dan Abramov or Gianluca Varisco. It's fine. But you don't have that many chances, right? Because otherwise we'll be just 3 people in this room. Because the elite doesn't scale. So what an engineer manager is supposed to do? Of course, approving vacations, right? Well, many things. Career growth, focusing on career growth of the team members. Filtering. I mean, when you are in a big organization, even in small ones, you have a lot of noise, a lot of communication going on. Okay? So as an engineering manager, you should try to be a filter. I didn't say a shield. You don't have to build a wall for your team. You just need to be able to filter, to understand, and let them know what's happening, but filtering all the information. This is a tweet from Marco Rogers, a web developer, that says that a big shift in the new engineering management is giving the team a lot more context about what's happening around them and why. And it's very different from the traditional instinct to shield, to build a wall from things outside the team. Hiring. Hiring is a very important thing that where engineering managers should step in, because even if you are hiring, let's say, 8 developers, you don't have a team. You have 8 developers. And even if they are super strong from the technical point of view, there are also other things that makes a team. Empowering the team itself. The team should be able to decide, to understand what's going on in the business, how to move forward things. And also enable the team to say no. It shouldn't be the manager that says, no, I decide that. No, it's the team. An engineering manager should be the glue between the team and the rest of the company and other teams. The culture. The engineering manager should be accountable of the culture, should be create always a better culture, moving things forward. One-on-ones. How many of you do regular one-on-ones with their manager or leaders? Cool. One-on-ones are basically those kind of meetings where you have the opportunity to discuss individually with your manager or with your leader about stuff. But most of the time, people think that one-on-ones, one-to-ones are that time where the engineer manager or the leader will ask, hey, are you on track with the delivery? Or, hey, are you on track with your personal objectives, with the team objectives? It shouldn't be just about that. Of course, it's part of the discussion. Probably, we should also write it in that way. Because the one-to-one is not just about the manager or the leader asking the developer what's going on, how are things going. It's also a moment where the engineering manager, the leader, can get feedback about what he or she's doing. One of the things I'm trying to do, for example, I have an open document with all my team members in order to track how things are, so we can go back and forth and understand how to improve things and take some actions. But what type of leadership or management are we talking about? A specific one, and it's called a servant leader. The difference between a servant leader and the other types of leadership or leaders is that a servant leader is servant first, then a leader first. Being a servant leader means that you are committed to putting your personal interest last. It's about the success of your people, of the people that you are helping and supporting the team. It's also about emotional intelligence. It's true, we love to code. You have this scientific approach, right? The thing is that, breaking news, developers, an organization of developers are also human beings. So you need also to relate to them in another level, from the emotional point of view. Because if you can't relate from the emotional point of view with the team members, it's very difficult to gain trust and to build things together. It's okay, Chirpo, you're telling us about engineer manager, but this kind of roles usually you find in big companies, or huge companies like Facebook, Google, or maybe DAZN. DAZN, for example, has a lot of teams distributed across 3 different countries. What about small companies? What about small teams where maybe there's no budget for this kind of leadership? Well, that's true, but you can always find someone that can take care about those kind of things. Maybe not fully focused on those kind of things, but I'm pretty sure, and doesn't have to be the technical lead. It can be almost anyone that has this kind of interest in taking care of those things. We are talking about, maybe it's not an engineering manager, maybe it's not even the team lead or a tech lead. Here we are talking about organizational leadership. Do you know what is one of the top reasons why people are leaving? I don't know, better salaries, but it's bad leadership. So again, being an engineering manager, a servant leader, is about the focus, about the fact that your main activities are focused on serving other people. Okay, I can hear you, good stuff, right? But how do you say in Italian? Fuffa? Through that, in the sense that I don't have real big data to show you, right? Do you recognize this picture? What's that? Exactly. So you write something, the test that is failing, then you write to the code that make it pass, refactor, and so on and so forth. Try to do that, to use the 3D approach when you're trying to solve a conflict. Maybe you need to have a crucial conversation with someone. You do the meeting, the one-to-one. Oh, it didn't go well. Oh, let's do that again. Let's try in another way, another strategy to see if it's working. You can't do that. Unfortunately, there's no code coverage. What about this? Do you recognize this image, more or less? This is basically what's happening when you open a pull request on GitHub, for example, right? You can see how many lines you added and how many lines you deleted, which is amazing in this case, right? Because, wow, I was able to delete almost 800 lines of code and add in just 42. What a joy. You can't do that with humans. It doesn't work that much. But I can tell you 2 stories. The first one is the 2 monitor story. It's a silly one, but we'll get there. So basically, I think I have a very good open relationship with my team members. They can ask me basically anything. They can be transparent, totally honest with me. But also what we do is to run sometimes anonymous survey in the engineering department, just because not everyone is always open, and in order to make life easier. There was one question in the survey, a very interesting one. Name one thing that will make your life happier at work every day. And someone replied, 2 monitors. Okay, so I was a bit surprised by that. And so I started doing the one-to-ones, and I was asking all my team members if they wanted to discuss the survey. And the first one said, yeah, it's fine. I found this thing. It's a bit strange, but it's not a sensitive thing, so I'm going to tell you. Someone said that it would be much, much happier if you could, he or she could get it at 2 monitors. Ah, it was me, Chirpo. I was lucky. So I'm super sorry, I told him. The first thing I said, I'm super sorry. I thought that it was easier for you and also for the whole team to just ask him to me. No, Chirpo, it wasn't you. It's fine with you. I asked you already many things. The thing is, no one in the team has 2 monitors. So I thought that it wasn't allowed by, I don't know, company policy. I laughed a lot. I said, no, it's fine. The day after, he got 2 monitors. And guess what? Even other 4 members of the team got 2 monitors. So it's a very silly example, right? It's a very simple thing. But these even small things, if you focus also on this small thing, can make your environment better, these small changes. Refactoring a team, put it on quotes, right? Because so a team can have ups and downs, such is life, right? I mean, sometimes things are going super fine, everyone is happy, is super engaged, but it could be that sometimes things are going in another direction because, again, external factor, internal factor, someone is leaving, someone is not feeling good. So this is one of the things that I had to focus a lot because there was a team where the negativity was there all the time. People working solo, lot of friction inside the team, and I had to work on that. And it wasn't easy because I couldn't just open a pull request to fix that thing. It takes time to do this kind of stuff. So one of the things that we are using, for example, is to use the squad health check model at Spotify. That are using Spotify. Do you know about this model? So it's a very simple thing that you can use during the retros. Basically, you have several cards with a traffic light. So people are voting red if things are not fine, amber if things are, green if things are very good. And are based on these things. And like easy to release, suitable process, value, mission, fun, learning, support, and pose of players. Pose of players means that if the team feels empowered of doing what they are doing. And through that, we could see that in 5-6 months, things change. We had more green lights. Of course, I don't have any magical recipe, or I'm not a superhero. Of course, even the team itself, other people help me to get to that stage. But I can tell you that it wasn't easy. You need to put a lot of effort in these kind of things. That's why my main focus is on the team and on the people. And also, this is another very quick metric. Just go to the office, see how many people are smiling in the office, and that could be a very good metric. There's one important thing that I want to tell you. Becoming an engineering manager or a leader, or organizational leader, is not a promotion. It's a total career change, okay? Sometimes we think, okay, wow, you were so good as a developer, I need to reward you somehow. Or what's my next step? Oh, my next step, if I want more money, if I want to progress in my career, I need to be a lead or a manager. No, this can break everything. This has also a name. It's called Peter Principle. When exactly what I said. When you're trying to promote people in another position, before they were amazing, super competent, and then moving to another position, make them incompetent. You love coding. You love to code. Keep coding. There's nothing wrong about it. So, and given the fact that even the developers' population is getting old, so many people are thinking about this stuff. For example, Nicola Yarochi said, don't tell anyone, but I'm almost 50 and still rocking. Amazing. Tell everyone. You should tell everyone. Same thing as Emanuele Del Bono. Here's another one, 36 years old and still coding. Amazing. Should an engineering manager code? Maybe. Sometimes I try to lurk some pull requests during the day. Sometimes I write code, maybe for internal tools, not critical production stuff. But for sure, an engineering manager should have a very, very strong background from the technical point of view, because you need to get the trust from your team members. You need to be able to speak the same lingo. But the important thing is that the engineering manager or any organizational leader should be part of the team. For example, Who does stand up in the morning? Not so many. Okay, it's fine. So basically, even if sometimes I don't have anything related to the backlog to tell to the team, I'll always tell something about what I did the day before, what I'm currently working on. Because it's important to collaborate and to let them know what I'm doing. So, becoming an engineering manager. Rafa Yepes, a developer at Badu, asked this question to Christoph Nagasawa. Christoph is an engineering manager at Facebook. He's the engineering manager behind Jest and React Native. What's the secret to become an effective engineering manager? Any tips or books you recommend? And Christoph replied this way: self-awareness plus reflection, listen to people, communicate intent, build trust, hire. It's all about people. It's all about people. And that's the main important thing. So what are the main tools for an engineering manager? 3 tools. Empathy, wait for it, and empathy. So, doesn't mean that you have these kind of things, you have to become a good engineering manager. But if you want to become an engineering manager, a true leader, you need these kind of things. And again, talking about, okay, but I don't want to be a servant leader, I don't want to be an engineering manager, what's my next step? Yeah, you could be an individual contributor. You can be a principal, for example, someone that has a lot of tech leadership rather than organizational and people leadership. But it's also important as developers to think about empathy. For example, Michele Bertoli, I don't know why I pronounced that with an English accent, Michele Bertoli, a software engineer at Facebook, asked last week, this is a friendly reminder to always optimize for learning. What are the skills you acquired in the first quarter of the year? He wasn't expecting any answers, but people start replying to him. So some people says Golang, Google Analytics, and enable the dark theme on Facebook Messenger. But okay, technical stuff. Someone else, crocheting and Canvas game, and also Kubernetes. All cool stuff, all technical stuff. Someone replied, I haven't acquired it, but I'm working on self-awareness and empathy. And Michele said, same here. Let's not underestimate these kind of things, because, yeah, it's true that with code, you have immediate feedback, you have data, you have something a bit more tangible. But also these kind of things will make your life easier as a developer and will help to build better things. Joe Franchetti replied to this tweet. If you want to stay relevant as a software developer for the next 10 years, there are 3 major things. What are those 3 major things? And Joe said empathy, cognitive diversity, and self-care. Of course, it's important to learn new technology, to also go back to fundamentals from the foundation point of view, from the AT point of view, from computer science point of view. But we should start thinking about this thing. We are so many now, okay? It's not like in the 80s or the 90s or in the beginning of the year 2000, where you have like a bunch of developers. Now we are more than 25 million. Of course, I have some recommendation because I have a slide with books. These books help me a lot. One is Crucial Conversations. It helps you to have crucial conversation, because sometimes you need to face it. You can't always hug people and smile and, hey, yeah, life is happy. Sometimes you need to have crucial conversation, and you need to be able to tackle them. Radical Candor, I think it's quite famous also because Silicon Valley, the TV show, did a lot of jokes about that book. It's also about honesty, and it's about basically the author. I think she was worked at Google and also at Apple, and you can read the story about how she was able to managing stuff. Accelerate is more about the DevOps culture, but there's a lot of things related to teams and how to get good metrics. Then Managing Humans and the Manager Path. Then you have the Making of a Manager, is a new one. I just read the first 3 pages, but I'm so happy because it means that these kind of things in engineering are getting momentum. One of the cool things about this book is that they help me a lot, not just to discover new things or to understand better things. they helped me a lot because I could relate to that. I could see myself say, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. Okay, so it's something that I can make that move. Another cool resource, even if you just for lurking, is engmanagers.github.io, which is basically a huge Slack workspace with engineer managers and leaders from all around the world, from all this kind of company, from Facebook, Google, Monzo, N26, even small companies. So what? Well, this is my 10-year challenge. 10 years ago, I went to my first conference, PHP Day, and I was able to, it wasn't selfie 10 years ago, I was able to have a photo with Rasmus, and it was my hero at that time, even today, don't get me wrong, still my hero. But at that time, I was super pumped, super happy, because I was able to find other people that, like me, that wanted to become a better developer and learning new stuff, how to become a better professional. 10 years later, Rasmus looks the same, but I need to know how. 10 years later, I'm here just for the same reason. I would like to find other people like me that are now maybe more interested in being an engineer manager, and more as a servant leader. So remember talks about Git or Subversion 10 years ago, even 5 years ago? Still relevant today, but we don't hear about version control that much anymore because almost everyone is doing that, right? But 10 years ago was something, oh, Git. Or about TDD. Yeah, we're still talking about testing. There's still an awesome presentation about testing, but it's not something that sometimes we give for granted. Well, let's talk about MVC. Same thing. So what I want to tell you is that if you're a software engineer, start asking your manager to be part of your team, to be a part of your daily activities. And if you want to be an engineering manager or a servant leader or organizational leader, that kind of manager, we need you more than ever. And trust me, you can bring as much value as writing a good pull request. So I want to get to this stage where the manager is with all the other people. So we code the future together. Why shouldn't we manage the future together? Thank you.